Now, our next guests are here to tell us what happens when one gay man and one straight man sit down. We do this every day, don't we,
exactly.
Tommy? We sit down and we compare notes on everything in life in the form of their hit podcast.
This has been done before, surely. No, they've had over 10 million views on TikTok, a sold-out live show, and way, way more.
Now, before we have a chat with the guys, let's have a look at their hit podcast, Your Internet Boyfriends.
Gay men have a stare and will check you out as they're talking to you.
Oh.
Chatting away at you. And he thinks he's getting away with it. And the eyes drop down to the arm. He'd be
having a look.
Oh, lads, opening up like a tuna can. He was just down there. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, unbelievable. He's able to continue the conversation completely tuned in.
All the phrases for saying that you're busy. She's all go. She's up the walls. She's all business. Keep saying things like this in work. And they're like, what business? And I say it about the person I'm talking to. She's all go. To the person's face. It's like, oh, what are you talking about? What's another one?
Here she comes.
Here she comes. She's on the move.
She's non-stop.
My mother says there's a woman, she'd meet herself on the road going. She's so fast that she's ahead of herself. You know, like in Mario Kart when you see the ghost of yourself in and out the road.
Dun, 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 dun. Love a bit of Mario Kart. Mark, T.Cox and Denis Len, good morning.
Good morning to you, lads.
Morning.
How are you?
It's great to have you with us. Right, so your internet boyfriends. So two Irish lads living over in London decided to get together, start a podcast. Where did the idea come from, Mark?
So myself and Dennis have been kind of crossing paths a bit over the last couple of years through comedy shows and things. And I think Dennis...
I think Mark's being polite. I just had tons of questions. And
Okay.
I had tons of questions, and then I saw Mark, and I was like, he seems like a man who has lots of answers, you know?
Questions about what?
Questions about what?
Questions, you know, that have been in my head, you know, about Mark and what he might be up to. And
In his gay life or in general?
I would say in his gay life.
Oh,
in his
right,
gay life,
okay.
yeah. Because you would be surprised at how little you really know. And then I met Mark, and, you know, I got the answers I needed.
Oh, this is exactly what we need.
We were doing shows and Dennis was kind of following me around after the shows. Kind of
Stalking you. Slightly stalking you, was he?
questions. I was like, I'm not answering anymore if I don't get paid. So
Well, I thought it's the gay man's meant to have the stare that you're just talking about there. Were you giving him the stare? Is that what it
I was
is?
excited or something, intrigued by the carry on. So
Your internet's boyfriends. Where's that name come from?
So an internet boyfriend is... It's kind of a lovely lad who lives in your phone or lives on the internet, and you just kind of find yourself looking at him a lot.
The algorithm is just there.
He just keeps
constantly.
coming at you, and he might be like an actor or a
Or like a TV presenter or something.
Oh,
like
there you
TV
go,
presenter.
yeah. Right.
There you go.
they're just lovely. They're kind of harmless and likeable and beautiful.
Well, that's me and Tommy.
That's the
There
two
you
of you.
go.
Your lads here.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the podcast. How did it start? What do you discuss? Is it just two lads just shooting the breeze? Are you discussing different topics?
I suppose it's basically focused on trying to start a conversation between, you know, a gay man and a straight man, and just realising that a lot of that stuff can just be fairly superficial. You know, in day-to-day life, a lot of stuff can be dealt with jokes and things like that. So I wanted to have real conversations, and the way that we do it is I just reflect on my week, he reflects on his week, and they're both starkly different, and we get to know about each other. So, like, at the weekend, I went to the garden centre and the dump. And what did you do, Mark?
Riveting stuff. I can't say much now.
You were online buying tickets for Celine Dion in Paris.
Yeah, that's it. Going out, socialising with the community.
They're both Irish, so where are you from?
I'm from Clare.
You're from Clare?
from Cork.
From Clare and Cork.
Yeah.
So you didn't know you're in Ireland at all. It was only when you got to London.
Just met a couple of, maybe a year ago. There's a huge Irish comedy scene in London.
Is there?
We all end up kind of crossing paths.
So when Joanne McNally and all are over, do you all get together?
There's loads
Yeah,
of
there's a
people.
big community over there.
Yeah. And we just kind of found each other through doing shows and things.
And are you quite reserved in your answers in terms of who divulges a little bit more on it?
Well, I get critiques that I'm just kind of telling everyone about everything about my life, and Dennis doesn't get to say a word.
Oh, really?
But often Dennis's stories are a bit dry.
It's right.
It's wrong.
Oh, right. Okay, great.
So, are you saying he's boring?
Great.
For the bit of excitement and the
Wait,
controversy.
let me jump on this. Right?
So, the garden centre and the dump then seems.
I actually find the
trivial.
garden centre very exciting.
So do I. I love the garden
I'm
centre.
buzzing getting up in the morning, going to the garden centre, looking for the right furniture for the patio.
I mean, I felt bad because first thing I went in and said hello to you. I said, and where are you from? And how long have you lived there? And I listened to the podcast and said, I hate being asked, how long have you lived here for?
Yeah.
Well, that's often after maybe a romance or a...
Oh, really?
kind of,
Yeah.
There's a list of questions people go into how long have you been here? How much is the rent? Are you going to stay here? Are you going to come home?
This
And
is red flag
that's what
territory,
you-
is
That's
it?
red flag territory.
Okay, sorry.
So what?
That's okay.
Can I ask you then? So what is when you're talking on the podcast? Is it your life as a gay man in London, and how are you finding it? How do you find your life in London as a gay man? Because things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I was in Dublin. I lived here for about 10 years, all through just towards marriage referendum, all of that
Yeah.
exciting time. And then I went to London and saw this whole other world and this huge kind of queer nightlife. And
Yeah.
because I work in cabaret and entertainment, so there's a huge scene. But I think we try and stay as linked back to Dublin as possible. And I think often going away, you see the charm of Dublin and the positives of Dublin, and London is not an easy place.
No,
at the
it's not.
minute.
Because I had friends who went to London. They couldn't hack it. They had to leave.
Yeah, it's intense and it's lonely. And I think people listen to us and there's a comfort. There's something about a podcast that it is like a friend or a boyfriend kind of in your ear. And you often only listen to a podcast on your own. It's a very intimate, private thing. It's so unique.
And I think that's what's kind of resonated with people and why we've worked together is because we felt like we were kind of telling the truth about people's experiences, especially in London, right? It's so pressurised, can be really tough. A lot of the time people want to move home. They might not.
Why so tough?
I think it's just, there's that thing they say, you work, 10 years in London is like working 20 years somewhere else. Because there's just so much pressure to like even achieve or move up the ladder or do whatever you need to do and be successful. And it was such a great break for me and Mark to meet because we were like, this is tough, isn't it?
And you're from Cork.
Yeah.
You're from Clare. Like, would you move back? Would you ever move back to Clare?
Maybe. I don't know, is there a cabaret scene?
They'd have to start opening a few clubs for you, would they?
Maybe not. You could
Although
open it.
the Euro Pride is coming. Do you know about this?
Oh, that's right. It's coming to Limerick and Clare. Yeah.
So I'm hoping
You're all of Europe.
get
It's-
booked.
Yeah.
You're going to be performing.
Are you going to be performing?
I hope so. They haven't asked, but to figure it out.
You discussed mental health. It was a big topic on the show as well. Something, as you say, when it is a very intimate listening experience for somebody, whenever you're so vulnerable and so open on a topic like that, that had huge resemblance from the podcast.
Yeah, and I think I know it's a bit of a stereotype, but just two men having a chat about everything and
Yeah. And I think
emotional
it kind
things
of,
come out.
as what we've kind of learned as well, is like it kind of compounds, right? So you have, men find it difficult to talk. Irish men find it very difficult to talk.
Yeah.
And then, a gay Irish man's experience might be very difficult to talk about. So it compounds. But I think that's what we've kind of been able to do on the podcast is do that.
And have you been surprised with the success of it? I mean, just when you're getting...
I'll say yes, he'll say no.
No, you always knew you were meant for stardom.
I'm sick of it. I've been around about 20
Just happened
years
overnight.
saying that I'm famous and I'm not. But no, I think it worked. I think it all just came together at a really nice time.
Yeah.
And I think people clicked on it. And I think we've loads of listeners abroad as well. They like the charm. They like we have funny accents, we have funny ways of saying things that people are endeared by.
Yeah.
But with the mental health, we did a special episode for World Mental Health Day. We
In
did
the
it
barber shop as well.
Barbershop, Shorty's Barbershop in London, which is an Irish-owned queer barber. And that place is whatever about therapy, just going to a barber and letting out your stories. Because often the barbers is the one place that you still have to put up your guard.
Yeah.
You still have to kind of check who's around, and you might be able to fully talk about your weekend or your boyfriend. So that was really nice.
Down at the garden centre, or not.
Yeah.
Talk to us about, you had a sold-out live show as well. Great
Yeah.
success.
Sold-out
must be
live show was-
nerve-wracking, but at the same time. Because you're both doing a bit of stand-up individually, but to come together just must be a lot much more fun.
It was amazing, but there was a little bit of work between us. As Mark said to me beforehand, he's like, I've never really shared a stage, so I was a little bit worried about that. But we worked that out. But no, it was amazing. But it was a little bit of a surreal moment before we were going on.
Yeah.
We did it in Pleasance Theatre, which is an amazing venue in London. And it was this little surreal where, you know, you get into your head. I asked Mark to do a podcast a year ago, and now we're about to walk on, you know, to a sold-out show. And it was definitely a first-time experience for me to have, you know, a couple of hundred gay men, you know, cheering for me.
Cheering for you. Cheering.
And I was like, oh, I quite like this.
Yeah, I like that. Mark, did they come to see this special gift that you have with a certain part of your body?
Sorry?
Excuse me?
You have a little skill with a certain part of your body.
With a finger?
Look at them looking at me.
I'm not even up to speed on this.
Well, listen, I'll be front row to go and have a look at it.
This little trick. Oh, yeah. That's it. 20 years of...
20 years of doing that.
This is it.
You could have other skills that we don't know about.
Know what you found.
Exactly. I mean, if that doesn't sell out a show, nothing will. Listen, your internet boyfriends, lads, thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Podcast. Thank you.
Mark, T.Cox and Denis Len, thank you both for coming in and enjoy being back home.
You.